You're not yet. Hey. Welcome to the 1,360,000 webinar of Oh Bless. We're going to clean up this mess. All right. Here's what I really want to say. This is what I'm really waiting for. This is the excitement that's coming out of my heart from a passive. I can't wait to say, hey. We just saved millions of people and got them off the streets. We just saved millions of people and got them clean water. We just saved millions of people and got them an income. That's what I can't wait to say. I'm dying to say it. I think it's going to be soon. I can't wait till November. As you all know what's coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go rent TVs. I'm going to take my neighbor's TVs and I'm going to put them all over my house and I'm going to watch it passive. And then I'm going to take pictures of it all. And then I'm going to send to all those naysayers. Look at this. You still think I'm talking junk? Here we go. All right. Oh, bless. I'm excited. You can see I'm fired up. I have two very special people who I'm going to hand over the microphone here in a second. They're a little shy, but I don't think they really are. When I got them on the phone, man, they were just going at it. Mr. Jeff and Miss Jana, I believe it's pronounced, and I'm not even trying your last name, Mascaglio. Is that how you pronounce it? Just say yes or no. Well, we'll let you correct me when you come on here. These individuals are very, very special. They have a very special thing that they're doing. They're also surviving through their industry. They're trying to help their industry, and they're going to explain all about it and what they're going to do. So on that note, I'd like to introduce Jeff and Jana Busek. You know what? We'll just call you Jeff and Jana B. I'll let you say your last name when you come on. So the show is all yours. Jana and Jeff, anything you need, just ask and we'll get there. But you can unmute yourself, introduce yourselves, and let's get it going.
Okay. All right.
Wow, what a lively bunch.
Yes. We love it. We love it. We are very, we like to have a lot of fun on our farm too. So we might look shy, but we are definitely not shy.
No,
Right, honey?
no, we're not.
Yes.
So my name's Jeff, and it's Basiglio. Pretty
Yes.
easy.
Yes.
And my wife, Jana. So I am a third generation dairy farmer. We have been in the dairy industry my family has for about 70 years. I decided to kind of follow my dad's footsteps when we were down in Florida and we took the farm over. So now unfortunately, we moved out of Florida. We moved up here to Georgia because of real estate issues. And we had to, family wanted to sell the land. So in order to continue on, we had to relocate. And so that's why we're here now in Georgia. It's been a walk. It's been a very, very faithful walk, I should say. The way we had to orchestrate all this up here, but we're only here by the grace of God. We're only here walking by faith is how we're running this business. And our business motto here now, which we have adopted, is farm by faith. And that's the only way we can do this here, because we're in an industry that is very challenging. Beyond challenging. And for us personally, we are still the small family mom and pop farm. Okay. We're not commercialized milking thousands of cows and this and that. We milk 150 cows. Mm-hmm. And just like our neighbors, there's, 4 or 5 neighbors around us that are within the same, range. And we're all in the same boat. We all have the same heart for the dairy industry. We all have the same just vision where, we want to be able to help, So, what we're on this call tonight is to pass some of our ideas along to the group and to see how, that will resonate with everybody in what we have in mind. So you have anything yet, hon?
Yes, so I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I was born and raised in Czech Republic. I moved here to US when I was 20 years old. Me and my husband met. We're going to be married 15 years in November of this year. I did not really ever have any a dairy farm background, but I grew up in a small town and in a kind of socialism, communism industries. So we had to grow our own stuff, things like that. So I grew up on, my grandmother's backyard. We grew a lot of vegetables, things like that, but never had a cow or anything like that. We have a lot of rabbits, things like that, but no cow. So, when I met my husband, I was kind of shocked first because I had no idea there was actually a dairy farmers in Florida, because my picture of Florida was palm trees and beaches. That was my idea. And so when we met, I had to gradually kind of like, okay, he's a dairy farmer. All right, I guess I can learn. I can deal with that. But, really where my passion came into a dairy farm is when my first child was born and, I began to bring him on a farm. And it kind of took me back and reminded me how I was raised in my grandmother's backyard and things like that. So that's where really I begin to learn about the industry. I begin to learn about farming in here, dairy farming and things like that. And, soon to find out, it's very passionate about it, but it's not easy, as we been going, 15 years back and forth and learning about the industry and learning about just the hard work and the hours and the things that, the dairy farmers puts in every day to feed the communities, to provide the milk, the main dairy product, the milk that everything else is stemmed from, down to butter and yogurt and all those different things. So, and so here we are, both of us up here in Georgia. And like my husband said, it's been hard for the farmers, but we have a heart for it. We have heart for farmers. This is where God has put us. This is where God has placed us. He has give us this industry. And, we try to figure out for the longest time, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? We kind of hanging by the thread. And, when OnPassive came and we signed up, and I think we signed up in 2021, in April 2021. So it's been like a year and a half. We had a lot of questions like, okay, we're going to dive in. We're going to believe in this. We believe this is the answer to our prayer we've been praying for, of course, not just for us and our families and the industry, but also see the potential to help others, in different areas. So that's kind of like just the background. We don't want to talk too much. We don't want to be, all out there and talk about every little detail, but we do want to talk about some of the things that our hearts desire, once we get everything gets in rolling and stuff. So I'm just going to let my husband speak. I know he's got a little line, and I mean, we don't really have a line. We're just going to speak of our hearts. Really, that's where our hearts are.
So one of the main, there are several challenges here in this industry that we're in. The number one challenge is labor. A lot of the smaller farms are really labor challenged. So you have a lot of the farm owners and their family doing it themselves because either they cannot hire the extra labor or cannot find the extra labor or can't afford it. So, we had a couple of ideas, that would maybe resonate with everything. And one was almost like a kind of like a temp staff. So we have a couple of 3 or 4 individuals that are trained, and they could either be trained here at our farm or wherever. And when a farm goes into a labor challenge, we could be able to send them out to relieve that farm and give them some help. Okay. However that looks, however the dynamics of that looks, I don't know, but I mean, I know that would be a big help. Just like we had a neighbor, 80-year-old gentleman, loved farming. He was labor challenged. So he made the decision to close his farm. No sooner he made that decision, all his help quit, left him. So he had to work a week by himself before he could get his cows to market. He would not have had to do that if he'd had some labor or this service was available or whatever, or however. The other thing is, the smaller guy, it's very difficult to compete with a larger farm because they can spread that expense out a lot better than we can. So, when we're challenged with operating expenses, you don't get a lot of favors and breaks, from a lot of your people. Fortunately, we have been very blessed with our vendors, and they have worked with us. But there's a lot of vendors that'll say, well, you know what, we're just going to cut you off. So when you have that on your plate and you're trying to operate your farm, and you have to have that in the back of your mind, thinking, are they going to send us a load of feed for our animals? Are we going to be able to keep working another week? It becomes very stressful and not fun anymore. Mm-hmm. So we want to try to put the passion back into it with the farmer and help them with maybe operating cost, help them with, purchasing newer equipment, updating with the technology. There is a ton of technology in the dairy industry now that is amazing, that can even help out with labor challenges. We're not saying eliminate labor. We're saying we can, get some more labor in there to help operate these newer technologies. Maybe some kids out of college, maybe, you never know. There may be a gentleman, homeless person on the street. He may be tech savvy. We just don't know that. So there's opportunity there, but the small farm doesn't have the funding to do that, to create that opportunity on their farm. So how could we help them? Okay. Mm-hmm. Another thing is, all your farms generally belong to a cooperative. So we sell our milk to a cooperative. Couple of different cooperatives here in the United States, and they're very good. But at the same time, we are bound to that cooperative for pricing, for everything. So we have to basically take what we get from the co-op. Now, they look out for our better interest, and we do have protection, and our milk is always sold. However, when there's a rising feed cost, a rising cost in electricity and this and that, we can't pass any of that on. We have to just take it, and we have to budget it in and try to make it work. So if you want to try to expand, say you want to put in more cattle, well, now you have to look at, can I afford to feed those extra mouths? So we're wondering, what can we do to help farmers expand? What can we do to maybe help the community? Could we put in a localized processing plant where the small farmer would then haul his milk to that processing plant, and then that plant in turn would then process the milk there and then disperse it however it needed to go, whether it be shelters, food banks, the public, however, less fortunate, single mothers, however that needs to look. But that processing plant would have, there would have to be some way to fund that for the farmer to pay his bills here to produce the milk. It's not a problem producing it. That's not the problem. The problem is our cost to do business. So, we want to be able to put the passion back into these guys and these young farmers and these families. And it's all over the United States and the world that are, I know in the United States, we're all in the same boat, the small guy. For example, there was a bunch of farms up in the Northeast that had to go out of business because they lost their contracts, their milk contracts. Their company told them, hey, we're not buying your milk no more. Now, how would that make you feel if you're a fourth generation farmer and your farm is over 100 years old and you're milking 60 cows and that's your livelihood, and all of a sudden you don't have a contract on your milk and you got to feed your family? You had farmers, dairy farmers, committing suicide over this because they had nowhere to go. It breaks my heart for that. I just made me sick to see that a fellow farmer in our industry had to go through that, had no future for their kids, for their next generation. How do we preserve the next generation
Mhm.
in the small farm? How do we do that? We keep the farms operating. We got to keep them operating and keep them going and keep that 100% wholesome product that everybody needs in their home. Look at when they had a baby formula shortage. Why wasn't the dairy industry approached for that? Everybody had milk. That would have been an opportunity there, to alleviate that shortage. Could have went into that world. And I just couldn't, for the life of me, gather why that avenue wasn't approached. Our kids, that's all our kids drank, milk from our tank. And that's how we raised our children.
Well, I think that, for my husband, it's been just such a passion because he is the third generation, but there's just a lot more to it than that. Like he was talking about, preserving the next generation. I'm looking at my children. And, we've been in a situation already a couple of times when we're like, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going with this? And of course, there's been a lot of pressure on our end, but, our hearts really is to preserve it to the next generation and the farmers, because without the farms, we know where the industry's already going. We've seen it everywhere, all around us. Everything is changing in different areas, but the food industry, the dairy industry, and the farmers, that's where everything began. That's where food comes from. So we want to preserve that. We want to preserve the small family farms. We want to help those families, even in the industry that has struggled, because we know how it feels like. We know what we walk through those shoes every single day. Just like my husband said, help the community around us. Like if we can put a plan, like for example, we talk about with you, Chris, like we share our passion. If we have the funds, if we have when Passive comes, and we have the funds, how can we help not only this farm to preserve generation for our children so they can carry on into the next generation, but for the other family farmers, because that's where your food is coming from. It's a community thing. Farmers are for communities and always has been. Back in the days, that's what it was. You had a community, everybody gathered, everybody shared with neighbors, everybody came to the one location, and that's how it was. But, obviously the food industry changed so much over the years. So our passion is to, extend that. And then maybe, yes, if we can build a plant in here, and we can do something different with the milk industry. We can start using the dairy products. We can start doing butter. We can start doing yogurts. We can start doing cream cheese. And not only that, but we can start doing that, but we can also provide more jobs, because we'll have facility where we can help the families and help them around. So, well, I don't have a job. Hey, why don't I bring you over here? I have something for you to do over here. You can package milk. You can start making yogurts. You can start doing that. So that is just the area, like we talk about it, in the dairy industry, but our hearts, it's really, it's always been to bless people, to poor people, because yes, there are a lot of homeless people. And trust me, I've seen them on the road every day. And when I stop, I talk to them, because that is just our hearts. That's where we are. That is our passion. I have family that is overseas. It's not easy for them. They still struggle. Like my mom, there's so much even in my country, there's so many areas, little villages that think people live, barely making it through, and they can do, because financially they struggle because of the era that keeps continue in that country. So it's all around us. We're not just talking about, yes, our passion is dairy. Yes, our passion is a farmers, but really our hearts is for all people. It could be the single mother. It could be, orphanage. It could be a church that needs the help. It could be a missionaries that go out. How can we help? Because, also we talk about the beef industry. We don't buy a beef. We do our own. We process our own. We kill our cattle, and we have our own meat. How can we do that more? We do it on a small scale because that's where we are right now. But if we can do it on such a large scale, why not do that on a large scale, have that availability, have that meat on hand. And when we plug it into these communities, even if it's just around in here, the people, there's a lot of people, they can't afford to buy a meat, not especially today in these prices. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know how much meat costs in the grocery stores right now. It's out of the roof. It's absolutely insane. So how can we even bring that avenue, right? How can we bring that and disperse it into the community? Even if I go to the homeless shelter, I don't know, if there's a kid, however that looks like, hey, here, we're gonna bring you 50 pounds of ground beef. We wanna put it in here. Use it for however you wanted to use it. So this is just some areas where our hearts it's coming from, but mainly because of the dairy and because of the families, we see like a lot of dairy farms are going out of business, not because they want to, but because they just can't hang on. They just can't make it. And for us, as a farmers, because we've been through some of those areas, even back in 2009 or whenever, that was really hard year for everybody. When COVID hit, everything shut down. A lot of farmers had to drain the milk down the drain because there was nowhere to go with that milk. Everything was shut down. So that is just kind of like our ideas, our hearts. God has blessed us, and we are so fortunate to still be here in the dairy farm business. And trust me, there has been a lot of times we were like, okay, that's the last of the last, but God has kept us in here, and there's a purpose and reason for it why we are still here. And so we believe, when on passive, fully comes the full speed, we're going to be able to do that. We're going to be able to plug in, not just here in US and in the communities, but we're going to be able to take it a lot more further than that, because that's our passion. That's our hearts.
And I think too, there is a lot of opportunity just everywhere. For example, the Caribbean. Okay. We could go over there. We have the people and the technology to go to the Caribbean, put in a farm over there, put in a processing plant over there, create some jobs for those folks, and then have it to where that milk is going to that processing plant, and that plant is producing those products for those people over there. And, and if we could get things like that going in different places, I think, we can really, really get some change and some, what's the word I'm looking for? Just some different, I want to say growth, just some different growth in that area for those that are less fortunate, those areas that are less fortunate. We can go in there and create jobs. We can create revenue and income for those families. Now they can, when they make more money, they spend more money. So now it also extends out to their community. Now they're doing other things in the community, and it's helping everything, so it's just like when gas prices got cheaper, what everybody do? We went driving around. We went on vacation. Okay. We did. We spent money because we weren't paying $50 for a tank of gas. We spent it elsewhere. It's no different. Put the dollars in the healthy alternative. So let's try to push forward to helping, children. There's a ton of children that would just kill for a glass of milk. Yeah. And we had farmers throwing it down the drain. Yeah. When COVID hit, because we couldn't get the packages. We couldn't get the gallon jug because the factories were shut down because their workers all had COVID. So they couldn't get packaging. So therefore packaging filtered down to not being able to ship milk. So it was a mess. It was a mess for, for our industry. And we're coming out of it on the other side of it, but everything now is just gotten expensive. Cost of feed has gotten expensive. When we have a catastrophe out west where they grow a lot of feed stuff, and like over in the Ukraine where they grow stuff like that, it affects us over here. With all these feed commodities, that is a 100% number one key factor in the animal industry is how are you going to feed them? When that feed gets expensive, everybody starts looking different directions. What are we going to do? So, that's just something else that's, that plays on the back end of how can we help? How can we help these guys? And believe me, I have a lot of respect for the large guys, the guys that are milking 10, 12,000 cows. Hey, God bless them. I don't want that. I have no desire to do that. My heart is is just what I'm doing. I'm the little house on the prairie guy. That's who I am. That's who I am, and
But also, like my husband was telling, like, and even like for the next generation, like our hearts also, like when we used to live in Florida, we used to do a lot of tours. Like we did a field trip from the schools. We have field trip for the blind and the
well, it was a field trip for about 200 visually impaired children.
Yes. And so when I think something really turned and twist on us right then, because when we had to accommodate for all the children that were blind or can't see, it just gave us such a pleasure and enjoyment to see these children just to be on the farm, just to touch the cow, just to feel the chicken feathers, and just to kind of like, that's like the best reward ever. When you see the children. And so bring that back and keep the small farmers alive and going. Have these children come to your farm, teach them about farming, teach them how to preserve, the community and how to farm and where the milk comes from, and just kind of going back where originally everything started, because there's a lot of people, a lot of children even out there that they have no idea what that looks like and where the food or the dairy products coming from. So preserve that and teach them so they can carry on the next generation as well. So there's a lot involved in every area. I hope we kind of sum it up. There's a lot more obviously, but we don't want to be too long. Our heart and passion is, to glorify the kingdom of God, and that's what we do. Where can we help? Where can we bless? Where can we pour in? And so that's just kind of where we are, right?
Yeah. The whole, they call it agritourism, which is the term that's used for, the kids coming out to the farms and visiting farms and learning about dairy and it doesn't have to just be dairy. It could extend out to other things, gardening, animal health, different things. It could be, all of the farm assets on there. And a lot of these kids, they just think their milk comes from the grocery store. They have no clue where it starts and where it ends. They know where it ends, but they have no clue where it starts and how it gets to where it's going. So, we try to, when we do these, we do these field trips, we do a whole tutorial, and we also usually get a lot of, handouts. We get coloring books, crayons, all kind of informational stuff, even for the teachers to do in their classes. We send materials back with them that we get through the Dairy Alliance, which is a lot of our, promotional, a promotional outfit that we belong to, that we pay into out of our milk checks and stuff. So, it's just very rewarding when you can have a group of kids come to your farm and they can leave there knowing that they know where their milk came from, or how all that started, from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So, we do a lot of that. We're just not set up real good to do that here. We do a little bit of it with some homeschool groups and stuff like that. We've had some good turnouts. We've had, 40, 50 kids here, mm-hmm. with parents and everything. So we've had, pretty good turnout. But, we would like to have that a little bit more classroom style, and then really be a little more hands-on, and really give them give them their money's worth. Let's put it that way. And, but anyway, so that's just kind of, what we have in mind in a nutshell. we're open for any questions or comments. Anybody's got any ideas how maybe something could be done better? We're open for that. We love to brainstorm. I'm always thinking. I think every day. I walk out of my house, I'm thinking every day, how can we do something to make a difference? What can we do here on this farm to make a difference? What can we do to keep us going another week or another 2 weeks? Or how can I what can I do to care for my animals better? My animals they got it made here. I mean, they got a pretty good gig going. So we that's just our hearts. That's just where we're at.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, real quick question. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. You also had a plan, and let me tell everyone first, if you don't know, without farmers, without truck drivers, we'd all be real skinny people. Let me tell you that.
Yes.
That's the truth. Farmers were from the beginning of time. Of course, when we got the wheel and the motor, truckers came along, but two very strong, independent people. Without them, we'd be kind of hungry, I believe. But farmers, I grew up with farmers, believe it or not, where they moved into the city and they told me, they sold their hard times fell on their family. They sold their properties. They explained to me being up at 4 o'clock in the morning, feeding the chickens, feeding the cows, getting the milks, combing down farmers did a lot of work, and they didn't work from 9 to 5. They worked from 4 o'clock in the morning till dang near 10, 11 o'clock at night,
Yes.
So I got a lot of respect for farmers, but you said something which actually caught my interest, that you wanted it with the money coming in from Oblast, and you are both founders, just to let everyone know that you had an idea to give the farmers a break. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Jeff?
Yes.
Right. That was leading back to that little group of like 3 or 4 people that were trained, and their general training would probably come from our farm if they didn't have any training. We would probably try to look for people that were experienced, and then what we would want to do would be, let's say Farm A is, I don't know, my neighbor, and he's been working, but he ain't had a vacation in 2 years, 3 years. We want to be able to send a crew over there, a couple of days ahead of time, let them get used to his farm, see his day to day and all that, and then let him build a level of trust with him. I know it's a little tough within 2 or 3 days, but if he understands that they understand what's going on, then he'll get that level of trust built. And we send him on a vacation and give the guy a week off with his family, all paid, because that guy deserves it.
Yeah.
He can't afford it, but he deserves it. And so, I've always thought of that, can we do a temp service? Can we have some kind of service to put together and have these people, these services strategically located in these farming communities all over the United States? Okay. And they just go from farm to farm. Even if there's a labor shortage, hey, you call them up. Hey, I need the guys over here for a week. We're short on help. Or we're short on help because we're busy getting crops in and we need an extra person. And something like that. But a lot of people don't. That doesn't exist. So we want to try to create it to make it exist, because I think it would be a very, very viable thing for the farming community.
I like it. You know what? And a lot of people say, Chris, why? The reason that caught my attention is because Jeff and Jonna didn't say, we want 3 guys coming and running our facility. He was talking about other farmers. They weren't talking about themselves. These individuals right here, from the 1 hour I got to talk to them, are very caring and passionate, not just about their dairy farm, but about people itself. Now, they have told me many more stories. We need another 4 hours to go about, and I'm going to break a little down, where they actually hire people. Some of the people they hired to help out for amazing things, even though it takes a lot away from them. They're all about helping people. They have people that work on their farm that, Jeff and John, share the one story, because I don't want to go into all this, the sad stories about the lady and her husband was getting sick in insurance. I think it was something like that. Can you share that one with us, please?
Who?
Oh, you mean our part-time help?
Yes.
Yes, we there was another farm down the road that ended up, they closed down. So I went to their cattle sale over there because they had an on-farm sale. You know, my neighbor, I want to go support him, you know, maybe buy 1 or 2 cows, which I did. So I was there talking to some of the people that work there. Well, there happened to be a mother-daughter team that worked there and took care of a lot of their babies, you know, raised the baby calves and stuff like that. And the daughter milked in the barn and stuff. And I said, well, listen, I said, you know, if you guys are looking for, you know, a little bit of work, I said, you know, I probably can have a place for you over at our barn. And she said, okay. So, you know, I got their phone number, and, you know, a little bit of time went by, and I talked with my wife. I said, you know, I think I want to give that lady a call and have them come out and visit with us and just talk with them. So we did. Come to find out, her daughter is actually got a degree in animal science from UGA, and which is great. And so I asked her, I said, you know, what would you be interested in doing? She says, well, I'm just really looking for something part-time. You know, my husband is on disability because I guess he had a work accident. And so, you know, they're not able, I mean, you know, he's not able to go back to work because he has to, I think he has to attend doctor appointments weekly, you know, for checkups and stuff. So she's working here for me 2 days a week, and we're training her, you know, our style of milking in the barn and this and that. And so, you know, my thing was, if I could put in more cows, then I could put her on full time, you know, and she could, you know, have a little bit more income for their family.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
not only that, but you know, she doesn't have, it's her passion. That's like, she told us, like, I'm not here really for big paycheck. I just love what I'm doing and I want to help you guys. So it goes both ways. When you meet people like that, it's really pleasant, because, you know, you don't meet a lot of people who wants to milk a bunch of cows at 4 a.m. Okay. And then do it again at 4 p.m. It's just, you know, and that's what we want to preserve. We want to preserve that. But you know, like my husband said, my first immediate reaction when he told me, oh, I'm thinking about, and I'm just being real with y'all. I'm just not even playing. I'm just being real. I'm being raw. And he was like, I'm thinking about hiring this lady. I said, we can afford it. I was like, we can really afford it. I said, but then he's like, well, what can we afford to help her out? And I was like, okay, let's go back and let's reevaluate things. And we were like, okay, what can she do? And she's like, well, I can do 2-3 days a week. And we like, okay, we can do this and that, you know. So it's those things like we like, oh, I can, but yes, we wanted to do it. So we go above and beyond and whatever. If it's only 3 days for her and it helps her, why not? If it helps her family, why not? You know what I mean? So that is just our hearts. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, we had people in here that we took off streets. We helped a gentleman that we saw him in need. You know, we even thought about back in there having people come in. If we have homes and trailers in here, we can take people off street. We can put them in their trailer and give them like 3 months and teach them how to dairy, give them job, put them back on their feet. That was all ideas we had. And, you know, we had a couple people in here and, you know, unfortunately they didn't want the help. After like 5 months, they just left because they, you know, for whatever reason, they fall back into, you know, drugs or whatever it is. But we did have that. And so that's our heart. Like, we don't mind taking people in. We want to do that. We want to take the people off streets because it's tearing my heart when I see a young person. For example, I saw this gentleman, I don't know where it was, at Walmart, and he was so young. And I just stopped by. He was standing in the rain. I said, what are you doing here in the rain? And he says, well, I'm just trying. And he told me the story. I said, get in this car. And my kids were me. I said, get in this car right now. He's like, are we going into Walmart? I said, and I'm going to get you shoes. I'm going to get you what you need. And so he's like, no, ma'am, I don't want to get in your car, because he was so worried he's going to get my car dirty. I said, I don't care. Get in this vehicle now. And so we went and I took him. And you know what? Not only he needed the shoes and pants and all that, but I began to minister to him. And I got to find out his heart, why he's on the street. I said, what what are you doing on the streets? You are 20 years old. How did you got here? And you know what? He told me his story, and I got him what I got him. I said, I wish I can just take you, to my house and give you a shower. But I said, I live like 40 minutes from this town. We live in the middle of nowhere. But I saw his heart. We need to look around and stop by with people. And we got to see, okay, why these people are on the street, or why they just want someone to care. And you'll be surprised how they open up. And I was like, okay, if I did have at that time a trailer in here, a facility, I would got that guy in here and I would give him a job, because I knew he was serious about getting off streets. That's just my heart. That's another story.
We wanted to call that program the Restart Program. It's like 90 days, and give them a job, give them a small paycheck, but be in the Word of God with us, get teaching, clean them up, let them learn a trade, and give them the option if they want to stay on board as a full-time employee, or if they choose to move on, then they can move on.
Yes.
That was another idea that we had, but we just don't have the living facilities here, and I can't, it's like, we can't go put a bunch of travel trailers around here. We're just not set up for that, so we would have need an area where we can, put housing in, even if it was tiny houses, something like that.
I mean, we do have the land. So we do have the land. God has given us the land. So we do have the land. It's just, like in our situation, we can only have so many. But if all of us, help a one person a day, how much more difference it can make? Correct. So
Amen.
That's just us.
Amen to that, Jana. Okay, now I did that for a reason. I wanted you to show the passion of what these two individuals, these beautiful individuals, have in their hearts, not just for themselves. They want to try to save an industry, to help an industry out, their neighbors, as you can see, strangers. They're good people. What I call good people. They're my kind of people. So we do have a few hands up. Jeff and Jana, if you're ready to take some questions, or you know what? I'm going to start off with ladies first. I know, Mike, you raised your hand first, but I always do ladies first. So Narelle, and I know, Mike, you would have told me that anyway, but Narelle, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. Narelle Walk-On here from Australia. Wow, what an evening, and something a little bit different. Jana and Jeff, wow, I'm a dairy farmer's daughter. You can probably tell by my skin. I grew up on the farm. It's hard yakka, and I just want to say so much love to you guys, because you know what, the passion of farming, in any farming, whether it's dairy, particularly dairy, cattle, any of that is dying out, because the younger generation doesn't see the benefit of working their bums off. From sun up till sundown. My mum and dad had one boy and 6 girls. My poor dad missed out on the boys to help on the farm, because that's what they were. They were dairy farmers. They were very poor. Their parents were dairy farmers, and they didn't own the farm. What they called share farmed. So they actually worked for so much, and they got so many cents per litre over here of the milk that was sold. And you talk about letting the milk go down the drain. You've never seen anything sadder than a grown man cry. We were on a farm that milked 300 to 350 cows a day. Twice a day, the cows have to be milked. They don't take a day off just because you feel a bit tired. You can't say to the cows, hey, look, I'm not going to milk you this morning, but I'll do you this afternoon. It doesn't work that way. They have to be milked, because it's just no good for the cow. And their udders would explode, I think, if you left them for too long. And it can make the cow very sick. But, that type of thing, when you see your parents basically throwing vats, these massive big stainless steel vats of milk, and not just once, because ours wasn't to do with necessarily COVID, because my parents have passed now many years. It was to do with the flooding. We were at the end of a road out, on the property, and the floods came through, and they cut you off from the big tankers coming out to collect the milk in the vats. You can only keep a certain amount, and otherwise you have to let it go. You spoke about the family, community, children, that sort of thing. And I think it rings true as farmers' children. It's a lonely life unless you've got siblings, but you have a job on the farm. Mine was not necessarily just mine, all of us, but we're shoveling the cow poop out of the yards because with so many cows, it wasn't just big water system. You actually got dirty. You shoveled. We had to carry our hot water from the dairy, which had hot water, to our home, which had no hot water. As little kids, like 6 and 7 year olds, carrying massive big buckets of just hot water. Helping in the dairy. My parents then moved on to another property which paid a little bit better for them, and they were the first property to have herringbone bales. If you don't know what they are, go and look them up. They're herringbone bales. It's for milking cows, and it was the first time that a dairy in our area had been able to do that. And it was amazing. I mean, you're down in a pit, you're down amongst the poop, the pee, everything you can think of. The smell of being on a dairy never leaves you, I can tell you that. But it's also fun, and it can be fun. And I think, having a community or a co-op where people are helping each other. I have a sister here in Australia. Her and her husband own 20,000 acres of cattle property. And a few years back, they went through an 8-year drought where many farmers took their lives. They were found trying to drag their cattle out of dams which had a teaspoon of water in them because it was just a really sad situation. And many over here lost their lives because the proudness that comes with being a man, firstly, but also a landowner or those producing and providing for their family and community becomes so overburdened because they get no help from the traditional, supposedly governments that are supposed to be helping those on the land. Like you said, and has been stated, many people would be very skinny. Chris, I think you said that, because people don't appreciate where they get their food from. People don't appreciate that they can pour fresh milk. The milk that we got from the vats as kids, we'd go and take a glass jug, tip it into the vat, take it up, put it in the fridge, and we'd have like 2 to 3 inches of full cream on the top.
Absolutely.
And they diversified into making their own butter and their own produce, in a sense, because that's how it was done. But these days it's become so easy for the younger generation, and I'm not saying this just against them. I think we all need to take a step back and reevaluate, where our food comes from, how our food is grown, where, who can we support, the smaller farmers, because guess what, who's taking over? The big conglomerates of people, the Woolworths, the Coles, you might not know them as those over there, but over here, the big supermarkets are taking over, where they're buying all the land out. China's buying the land over here. Yeah. And it's a sad thing that they're taking over and the little ones are being pushed out. So let's stand together. I support you 100% fully. Thank you so much for sharing from your hearts tonight. It certainly opens up a little bit of emotion for me, and the memories I have and how hard it is for you guys, but the love of God is within your hearts. And thank you very much for sharing. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I didn't forget. I think your father was blessed with daughters, because there was a reason for that. I don't think I would have seen your brother on here talking about his time. You obviously worked your butt off with your sisters and your brother, and I'm really glad. I kind of hope you guys can connect. You probably could swap stories that I wouldn't have a clue about, but if you guys want, swap it. She's in Australia, Jeff and Jana. If you want to get in private messenger here, or I could send you Narelle's information. I'm sure Narelle's got a lot of ideas from being on a farm, but Narelle, I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Nice to see you back too. And I will say, Narelle and Yvonne are going to take a little behind the scenes break for a couple of weeks. Not sure when they're starting. They have their shows on Thursday early in the mornings in the USA. I'm not sure if they're doing it this week.
We're just taking off. We're stopping this week, Chris, and the following week, only because of personal things, but me with Mimi and the fundraiser coming up as well. So we'll be back on the 27th of October, all going well. So we're in the background, we're still working, we're still doing stuff. We're just taking a break from the webinars that we have here in Australia and New Zealand. So thank you
Gotcha.
for sharing that.
Thank you for supporting Australia and New Zealand with the Kiwi guy and Yvonne Mackett. So we appreciate you. Okay, let's get on to listen. This guy's called Engineer Mike, and I can't say his last name. Even if he said it, I wouldn't know how to say it. It's a lot harder than yours, Jeff and Jonna, even though yours isn't that hard. Engineer Mike, go ahead, buddy. Unmute yourself.
Hello, Chris. Good evening, leaders. Thank you very much, Jeff and Jana. I really appreciate you people, for the stories that you brought this evening. It's an avenue that we need to be thinking about it, okay? When I look at the statistics for agriculture for 2022 from the United States Department of Agriculture, it shows me that we'll be having a 7.3 billion rice in agricultural product. Just imagine with all the COVID situations going around the world, then if it was not COVID or we did not have COVID, it would have been much more better, right? So as the years are going, this is how things are supposed to be increasing. Now, coming to particularly on dairy farming, you see that dairy farming, it also has a lot to do with a lot of new modern technologies, right? And the new modern technologies, if we have these new modern technologies, it will improve their productivity, okay? Like we have a barn, from a barn right up to a milk industry, start from there, from a barn, right up to a milk industry. It will be much more, and like we said, this is the real platform to make it happen. You people were talking about agro-tourism. That is something that is amazing. So that these kids who are coming, they are the leaders of tomorrow, they will know eventually about all these dairy farming. So how can that be done? Remember, we have a platform called Academy, okay? Basically, both of you who have a lot of experience can be the tutors of that particular dairy farming course on Academy, which is one of our platforms, right? It's one of our products in our platform. Again, not only that, we have also professors in this platform. I and the team, we have a product review session that we do every Sundays at 11 Eastern, okay? Every Sunday. Now I have a professor who came there last Sunday, okay? She's an Opasivian, she's a professor. She designs courses, okay? Right from kindergarten, right up to PhD level. So if that is something that you people are looking in the future to get these courses, then get this industry run so that we can have more people involved, teaching them, and you people take the lead role to, oversee everything and do the courses. That would be a good idea to get Professor Francis. She's one of our Opasivians, right? Professor Francis Ohanenye. She designs courses she showed us on Sunday how the courses are being designed. She showed us in a draft. She can do that from kindergarten right up to PhD level. So if that is something that we're looking forward towards, then we can try to get in contact with her. Chris can give you people my number. I will hook you people up and you make it happen because she designs those courses. So we are in the same place. All of us here, we have different talents that if we bring them combinedly together, we will really go where this the purpose of our CEO and the goal of All Bless is all about. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Engineer Mike. If you guys want to contact, like I said, you can do it private in the chats or send me information. I can send it back and forth to everybody, get it going. Okay, to the man who usually comes in the last 30 seconds. He loves everybody. He's going to let you know, Mr. Richard Lamotte. Come on down, brother.
I love all you beautiful men, women, and children of the world from the bottom of my heart. Jeff and Jana, I love your story with a passion. It warms my heart of what you want to do. I know how you're struggling because I had 5 uncles that had farms. 3 of them were milk farms. The other 2 were survival farmers. That's what I call them.
Mhm.
How big is your farm?
We milk about 150.
Yeah, but how much property?
Oh, we have 271 acres.
So you got room for about 5 to 10 cube houses.
Mhm.
Yeah, freestall barns.
You know,
What
the
they call
3D
a freestall?
houses, 3D, they call it 3D houses or cube houses.
Okay.
And these are the ones that probably a lot of us are going to get for homeless people.
Mhm.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
See,
Yep.
see what we want to do is, let's say an abandoned farm, make like a little town on the abandoned farm, put these little houses there and bring in the homeless and have animals and gardens, and where they get pride again in themselves by growing their own food, by milking their own cows, having their own chickens,
Right.
But here you are, a farmer, which is a small farmer. Well, we can bring some of that to your farm, where
Mhm.
maybe 5, maybe 10 later on. But if you've got the property, and you can teach them how to garden, you can teach them how to milk the cows. You must have other animals beside cows.
We just got cows.
Oh
Got
my God,
chickens
we're gonna
and
have,
rabbits.
we're gonna
Chickens
have.
and rabbits.
Oh, you got chicken and rabbits? Good. I was gonna say we gotta bring in the chickens.
Yeah, we have
Got the
chickens.
chickens.
Yeah,
but
we used to have
but
horses and sheep too. Mhm.
but as on passive helps you to grow, you'll be able to extend, and you can have struggling families or homeless people. I've seen people, I asked one man, what are you doing on the street? He says, my rent went up to $1,500. I can't afford it.
Yep.
I said, for God's sakes, are you serious? You're on the street because you can't pay your rent? Well, he
Yeah.
says, he brought it from $1,000 to $1,500. And he says, I just ended up out in the street in my car. So this is where we can help these people. We can give them back
Yes.
pride, and in return, they do some work for us.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? And like you were saying, you have your own beef, you have your own milk. Well,
Mhm.
right there's your nutrition, milk and
Yeah.
and beef and eggs. I mean, we can make wonders with Obless. Like
Yes.
I got account galore, trying to figure out where I'm gonna send them, but that's okay. Out of over 30 accounts, I'm only keeping about 4. The rest goes to Obless. I'm going to be able to bless a lot of people. That's because I love everybody. Kisses and hugs to all of you. Oh, thank you, Engineer Mike. I like you.
Thank you, Richard. Richard, are you sure there's nothing else you want to say before 11 o'clock? You sure? You're positive now?
Well, I wanted to say more, but I'm going to let other people speak.
All right. We might have more time, Richard. You come back. We'll see. All right. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you. Okay. My queen, Dr. Benny, with that beautiful smile, please unmute yourself.
Jesus Christ. Good evening. Good evening, good morning,
evening.
good afternoon
evening.
to my brothers and sisters, my queens and kings on this amazing webinar in different parts of the globe. Brother Chris, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Miss Sister Jenna and Brother Jeff. JJ, right? I should just say JJ.
Yes.
I know I have never worked in a dairy farm before. I don't know how to do it, but maybe one day you guys will teach me also.
Sure. Absolutely.
To tell you the truth, the passion that you both have, I am so thrilled. I don't know what else to say. Now, you, Sister Jenna, you stated that I have never that the Lord, God is the one keeping you guys. Do you know
Yes.
why? Do you know why God is keeping you? Because of the
Yes,
passion that you guys have
Yes.
for the children, for the needy, for everything. So you know that, especially when you keep talking about children, you know, long time ago, during the olden days, Jesus Christ loved children a lot. Yes. Now, because of the passion you have, that is why our God is helping you guys. Oh, yes. I am so proud of you. Now, you said something that what can we do to help the community? How do we preserve the next generation? No preserving for the next generation. But guess what? There will be, because of the
Yeah.
passion you have. And again, because of passive, bless. You guys are at the right place and at the right time. I don't know what else to say, but I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How can you collaborate and cooperate with the higher institution to share your point of view and solve some issues and save your industry? Since you really want to save your industry, have you ever spoken to some of these higher institution, if there was no passive? But just to, first of all, to say, because of passive, I know that your problem will be solved. Some of us will be able to help you, since you are passionate to help individuals. I believe when the time comes, hopefully, we will work together. Thank you.
Wanna answer that question?
Well, when you talk to other folks in the industry, the higher ups, sometimes the little guy's voice is not as big as the big guy's voice. Okay. And it's sad to say that. It's very sad to say that, because our cooperative, they're not the bad guys here. We're not saying that by any means. It's just that not a lot of people are going to want to step out and help because they've got their own issues. But when you have the means to do it, it creates a whole nother atmosphere, a whole nother conversation that you can have with those folks. So if you have the means to do that, then we could probably approach the higher ups in those institutions and say, hey, how can we be instrumental? How can you help us to be instrumental to help them? Where we're not leaving anybody behind. So I think there can be some light at the end of the tunnel on that topic. However, what's got to happen is there's got to be means available to be able to have those conversations. And I think then everybody would be a little more receptive. They're just not as receptive right now because of everybody is fighting their own battle here in this.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really want to also thank Engineer Mike, Sister Nerel, Brother Richard. I know you guys started. I know you guys have the passion as well. And I know all of us will one day help Jana and Jeff because of the passion that they have for the children, and for the homelessness. Yes, we are here and we are going to work together because the money that I am going to make, why not help?
Exactly.
When the time comes, please,
Amen.
we will work together. I see
And
no
that's the
need.
thing for us. We want to help too. We want to be able to help any projects that everybody else has. We want to be a part of that.
Amen.
That's where our heart is. Our heart is to help and to give.
I see that. The Lord is with you as well. Don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Benny, appreciate you. John and Jeff, always ladies first. I want to let you know, you got a voice here. This platform is your voice. Oh, blessed. Will definitely get some attention for you. Never worry about who's not going to help you. I got 1,400,000 people that I know is going to help you. And that big guy that we always talk about, he'll be asking you a lot of questions in the future. I guarantee you that. So don't worry about that big guy. That big guy's only this tall, really, to be honest with you. All right. All right. Thank you, Dr. Benny. David Rosleski, please unmute yourself, my brother.
Hey, guys. I just got to say, I'm really digging the heck out of everything here. Farming is real important. With Bill Gates buying up all the farmland and GMOs and, all the generational, thing he wants to do with everything, all the food processing plants catching on fire and blowing up. We're running out of food. We got a lot of people to feed. And I actually bought a position specifically for this, because what I want to do is sponsor like generational farmers, small farmers, like you said, the little guy whose voice isn't getting heard and they're regulating you out of business. I want to sponsor generational farmers that lost that stuff. I want to buy farmland, small plots. I don't want to do it big like Gates and become, obvious. I want to get small farmers going, put them on their farm, help them with equipment, seeds. I want to do all kinds of farming, vegetables, like you with cattle. I want to do chickens and, and all that other stuff. I figure we can gather the poop, shuffle it around to the different farms to feed all the food, to fertilize everything. I'm all about what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I got lots of ideas. I would really love to brainstorm with you sometime if you got that.
Anytime.
I've been working on it for about 2 years. I got a bunch of ideas. But I definitely want to keep in touch with you anyway, because I definitely want to get a few positions under you to help support you that way as well. But I want to be able to supplement all these farmers. And, instead of, trying to survive and sell in the market, you get good banner years where you get great bumper crops and you're doing good. And then the next year you got a drought and you're crapped out and you're wondering how you're going to feed your family half the year. What I want to do is guarantee the farmers an annual salary. There you go. What's your best year? Here's your salary. We're going to give you that. And instead of the government paying you to not grow here, I just want you to grow as much food as you possibly can, because I want to ship it to the food banks, to the soup kitchens, disaster areas. Whatever doesn't get eaten stuff before it goes bad, I want to freeze dry it and package it for, tsunami victims and earthquake and wildfires. People need to eat. I want to be able to do stuff like that. And once things start crashing, I want to be able to hand food out to people to try to keep them from going crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
We got a neighbor. We got a couple of neighbors around here, that grow that farm. They row crops, so they grow corn, soybeans, and stuff like that. I'd like to be able to go to that one neighbor who has been a blessing to us and lending us equipment, not charging us, and say, hey, bud, I want you to grow this crop, this corn, because we're going to give it away, but you're going to make money.
Yes.
You're going to make money. You're not going to have to worry about fertilizer costs, which is absolutely ridiculous right now for any of us. Nobody can purchase fertilizer because it's so expensive. And
I've been watching.
it's unbelievable. I mean, what we're doing here on the farm is we are using our own manure, which we've always have, but we collect it and we put it on our pastures. So, we utilize that to help lower some input cost and, be more sustainable. The whole thing now, the big thing in dairy is how can we be more sustainable? How can we use less water? How can we, be more environmentally friendly? Here on our farm, we spray no pesticides, no herbicides. We use no commercial fertilizer. We're not organic, but we are pretty natural.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, in order to do it, especially nowadays, we kind of have to look back and see what they did back then, and it's going to do a lot better for the land too. Like I was going to talk to maybe rotating your crops. Okay, this year you grow wheat, this year you grow corn, this year you grow, I don't know, tomatoes, and then next rotate it to try to keep the land vital. I mean, I'm a carpenter. I don't know anything about it, but I know how important it is. And, I really like to pitch in somehow, and really do something. Make it different, not Band-Aid placebo. I want to really do something.
Yeah, you can just get our information from Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep, he's got our numbers.
Yeah, I only charge 50%. No, I'm just kidding.
That's okay. We'll get you 50%.
I'll get you any information you need. Dave Roslewski, thank you very much. Dave, my eyes are all swollen tonight. Are you growing a beard, my man? Is that what I'm seeing?
Oh, I've had the beard since I could grow one, just because I got a baby face. I shaved this thing off. I look 20 years younger.
No, you look like you got a Brucey beard. I thought I was talking to Bruce for a second with that beard.
My son wants me to grow it to be Santa again. Every year he wants me to do Santa. So from like October on, I just grow it.
It looks good, David. It looks good. I just was trying to pull Brucey's leg. That's all. All right, David.
I was like, I pulled my hair, pulled in here, and it just got too short. I couldn't pull it back up.
Gotcha. Don't worry, Bruce. You'll get your chance. Okay, thanks. Thanks, David. All right, Miss Carolina. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Unmute yourself, young lady.
Okay, that's me, Sweet Caroline. Thank you so much for, this is the first Blast meeting that I've come to, and it's been very, very enjoyable. And Jana and Jeff, I love what you've talked about tonight. I just want to ask you, what part of Georgia are y'all in?
We're in Gay, Georgia. You're in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm in North Atlanta, Gwinnett, Duluth, Georgia.
Gwinnett? Okay, so you're probably about 2 hours from us.
Okay.
We're in
Meriwether County.
Sonoya.
Okay.
We're just below Sonoya.
Okay. Yeah, down there south of the airport, right?
Yep,
Yes.
about 40 miles south of the airport.
Okay. Well, good. This is what I wanted to tell you, where you touched my heart. First of all, I've been in real estate for about 40 something years. So I know I don't look that old, but I have been in real estate that long. So I do have experience with like tiny houses, mobile homes, things like that. It's great to see that y'all have a lot of acres that we could possibly do something with that as far as helping the homeless and people like that. But I wanted to offer any of my real estate experience to your program, see what I can do to help y'all out. You've really touched my heart about the children, teaching them how to farm. And I think that that they need to know this. I can remember when I was in elementary school and we would go on field trips and things like that, that really sticks in these children's mind, and it gives them an impression that will last them forever, that will last lifelong. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I like the idea about engineering Mike bringing up about the lady that could help with a curriculum. And maybe if we could do some kind of a curriculum that we take into the elementary schools, and then maybe start like a prototype of what we can do to possibly start teaching these children about where food comes from, dairy cattle and things like that. And also, Jeff, I love the idea about you talking about giving these farmers a relief, getting a group of experienced farmers to relieve some of these farmers, because you're right, they work for years and years and years and never even experience or get to experience a vacation. So I love that. And what brought to my mind was that it's just like with sick people, the caretakers are the ones that are affected the most because of them having to take care of the people that are sick. Well, if we could create something like a farmer's hospice or something like that to go in and help these farmers, give them the relief that they need. So I like that idea that you brought up about giving them some kind of a relief. Let's see, another thing, So I'm all about helping the farmers, helping the homeless, whether it's putting tiny houses, mobile homes, or whatever on your property, creating some kind of a prototype for children to taking in to O Academy. This would give us an entry of talking to elementary teachers about O Academy and things like that. But anyway, you touched a lot of areas in my heart, and I just wanted to let you know that I would like to help y'all in any way that I can. Get on the bandwagon. Maybe we can brainstorm or whatever and see what we could do. And just call on me if you ever need anything. And I'd like to get your name and telephone number if it's through Chris or wherever, so that
That's
we can
fine. Yep.
keep in touch and brainstorm.
And come on down and visit. I mean, you're not that far. You come on down and take a field trip. And we've got some. I sit on the board for the ADA board for Georgia through the co-op, and that's a lot of our promotional stuff and marketing, and we do a lot with the Dairy Alliance too, which is the Dairy Alliance has a lot of influence on the children in the schools and stuff like that. So there's a lot of teaching tools there that we could probably get with them and team up with the Dairy Alliance, because they are already doing some stuff in that area, in the teaching area. But I think if we could get with them and submit some type of, like we talked about, a curriculum, and see how they would recommend that we get this into the schools, because they're already in the schools. They're in the schools doing stuff with the high schools. We've got milk dispensing coolers in the high schools. We've they're doing things with kids. They've got a lot of materials that we can get for kids, trifolds and pamphlets and different things, and activity books. And so we have a partial avenue there that I think we can expand on through them, and I think they would be very receptive with it. And on that part, and then on the I'm trying to think, there was something else. You just, doggone, so many things going through my head right now. Also, too, when we talked about the tiny house thing, we also are not opposed to single moms.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of them that really need help. And doing that. But the O Academy, I think, is going to be very instrumental in putting that together to go through the schools, because we can do a lot of that virtually, and or if it's not too far, we could. I don't mind going. I don't mind going to the school.
Yeah.
I've went there and done teach-ins and stuff like that, and do career day and all that at my son's school, so that's always fun. But yeah, we're open to, any suggestions. We just want this thing to go, and we just want it to, we want it to grow, and we want to be on the forefront of it. We don't want the credit for it by no means. We give it all to God.
Right.
That's where it's coming from. He's our source. He's our source. On Passive is not our source. He is our source.
That's right.
We're just the messengers we're just carrying the message and carrying the money or the funds or whatever we got to carry to whatever program. And then we have bought a position. We bought a position for our farm, and that position is going to also help the agricultural programs at the schools on the junior high and high school levels to help promote their programs because they are at minimal funding through the states.
Yes.
So we are going to be able to go in there and really ramp up their agricultural programs at the high schools and the junior high schools, because that's where it starts. It starts in about the 7th or 8th grade. The agricultural programs do, or 9th grade, I should say, down in the county or in the lower end of our county. But so, you know, I've been just real excited about that. I sit on the advisory committee for one of the high schools down in Manchester, Manchester High School down there, and down by Warm Springs. So that's kind of neat that we get to see their ag program, and you know, we're trying to be very supportive of them now, you know, with what they have going on. So we're excited. You know, we're excited to see where, you know, a lot of this goes, and especially, you know, promoting the youth. That's our next
Yeah.
generation.
Absolutely. Well, I just love your passion and your thoughts that y'all are putting into this. And I think that if we get to a point to where we can make it scalable, just not for here in Georgia, but we can scale it all throughout the whole United States and
Absolutely.
possibly global. You know, so we've got to start somewhere. But I think what we need to do is get Engineering Mike's, the lady that can help us with the academic, helping us with the curriculum and things like that, that we need to start someplace like that. And I am going to take you up on that field trip. I've got 2 grandchildren that I'd like to bring down there, and if we
Bring
come
them
down
on.
there, are you going to show them, or can you show us how to milk a cow?
Yeah. If you be down here around 12 o'clock, we start about 12:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, wow. That sounds great. Well, that's all I've got to say. I would like to get your telephone, your contact information, and maybe if Chris can also give us Engineering Mike, so he can give us the person who can help us with the curriculum. But I'm all in, and I'm here to help you to do anything that I can to assist you.
Yes, ma'am. And we help you any way we can
Thank you
too.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Caroline, you have my information?
No, I don't. No, I
All right.
don't.
So put it, I want you to, if you can, in the private chat, shoot Mike a message, get his information or swap that right there and we'll get it back. He'll send it to me and he'll give you my information too. And I'll get it to John and Jeff.
Okay, and I just go in there, instead of it going to everybody, I just do it to you and Mike.
Yeah, just go, if you don't have mine, go to Mike, if you got Mike's, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, all right, thank you all.
Jeff, I
Yes,
already
ma'am.
sent you Dave Roseski information. You could send, you got a number you want to.
I just sent a message, Caroline. Just check, you'll see.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. And Jeff, Dave Roseski sent me his number to give you. I sent it to you already.
I think I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to give me your number back sometime? Send it back and I'll send it to him. You guys can connect up there.
Yeah.
I do want-
You can give them my number. That's fine.
Okay, do I have your personal number? I don't think oh, yes, I do. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, you do. You got it.
Hold on. It's been a long day for me. I do want to do 2 shout outs real quick. Our brother Gianna is in the hospital sick. He texted me that he's listening in. So say some prayers for Gianna. And Gladys Navarro, she is on the road. She's on her way to help someone in need, health issues. So make sure you shout out a prayer for them. We're saying hi to you from here right now, our brother and sister. So, and everyone else that's on these YouTube channels. We've got quite a few hands up. It's a little after 10:30. I'm going to get them all. Here's the guy who introduced me to Jeff. I finally get to see his face. I've talked to him on the phone. His name is Vital. Vital, please unmute yourself. And the pleasure is mine, brother.
Yes, sir. Hi, Chris. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. Chris, I appreciate you very much, sir, for bringing in this powerhouse couple onto your Oh Blessed show tonight. These are my friends, and I'm so proud of them. Jeff and Yana, you're wonderful what you brought to the table. I tell you, the passion and love and admiration that you brought to the table is really admirable. And I want to thank you very much, Mr. Johnson, for bringing them on. I have a couple questions and then I'm going to have a little comment at the end. just the passion and love that you guys have for farming. My father was a farmer. I'm from Jamaica. My grandfather was a farmer, and my relatives were farmers also. And I wasn't too much of a guy of the farm, but I grew up on the farm helping. And when I heard you mention about taking this on the road to the Caribbean, you really warm my heart, because not only the Caribbean, but Africa, the Midwest, wherever the help is needed. And I could just see the passion and love in your heart to do this. And I want to thank you very much. And I want to ask you, Yana and Jeff, I live in Florida here, right in the Orlando area. And when you saw that devastation that took place in the hurricane, what was going through your mind at that time when you realized you could help and couldn't do anything?
Oh, it was awful.
Well, we could help only however we can help, what we can do. I mean, that's all of us in a position we are, but just not only because of a dairy farmers, because we know personally one farm down there got hit really bad, and it's devastating. I don't like to see anybody in this position. It breaks my heart. It's just one area when you see that. We used to live in Florida. My husband is from Florida. He was born and raised there. So I lived there for 20 years in Tampa area, and my husband grew up there. He was born and raised there. So we know, how these hurricanes can come. But when you have a Hurricane 4 category, it comes and you see the people and you see the damage and you see just all these different things. It's just, I don't know any human being that cannot be broken. How can your heart not be moved? How can your heart not be moved? So for us, that's where we come in. Okay, where can we come in as a community, blessed, and just get these trucks? I mean, I know our hearts, if we could, we just get a box truck and load it in with stuff and take it down there. That's just our hearts. That's who we are. We want to be on the scene, not because we want to be seen, but because we want to get in there. We want to help these people. That is our hearts. Like me and my husband, we were talking about it the other night. Like, how can we go and help us? Like, well, we can't go because we have nobody in here who can work for us. We have to stay here. We have to get going. These animals have to be milk. So it's like our heart, it's like we want to go and be involved and help. We want to be the hands and feet of Jesus, but we have to get this farm going for now. Nobody else can, we have one guy that works for us right now, but these are the things, my husband, how can I go down there and take my equipment, and how can help move debris and stuff like that? You know what I mean? So it's our hearts for sure, definitely, to help any area that needs to be helped.
Sure. And, you've just, what I think, there's a news going around right now that there's going to be a food shortage.
Yes.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yes.
And when I hear you talking about people in the industry dumping milk in the drain, wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's going to your mind, especially during the period when you had this baby formula shortage, and you see you could help, but your hands were tied?
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, who could be drinking that milk instead of the drain? That milk could be going out to, even if it's given away. And the funny thing about it is, we had to dump milk down the drain, but we had to pay the freight to haul it out.
Whoa.
Yeah, the milk that they picked up on our farm, we took a substantially reduced price, and we had to pay the freight for them to come to take it out of here. So we got it. We got it all into the both ends of the spectrum there, because when COVID hit, they had nowhere to go with it. So So, they pooled all the milk together and they told us, they said, well, if you physically dump it down the drain, that's going to reduce the amount of money into the pool that everybody's going to get paid. So let's say you dumped 10% down the drain. That's 10% that's not going to be in the pool. So, we had to ship it out and we had to pay the freight to ship it out. But we had to take a substantially reduced price or didn't get paid.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's where, my heart is, like I said, if we can put a plant in here, or if we can put a facility here, and hey, our farm can be a demo farm, and then from there we go. We train people how to do it, like my husband said, on the small farms. And all over the world, we know, even like my own country, there's some very, very poor areas. That sustainability for the community. Teach them how to grow crops, teach them how to be self-sufficient, give them the ability and funds to do it, and let those places be, not be dependent. Like a lot of people are dependent, on grocery stores and things like that. But, I believe in my heart, even since COVID hit, I grew up growing stuff. So, we do gardening, we do stuff, we do like 80% sustainability, whatever we can here on our farm. I want to help people, teach them how to do it, how to be sustainable and eat even the clean food. Have those nutrients in your body, have those things that are good for you and not processed heavily and sprayed heavily and all those things. It's a garbage. I grew up in Europe. We never had that. Even under communism, we never had any of this stuff. Everything was clean, bottled in glasses, milk was in a glass, yogurts were in a glass, it was clean. So I've seen a lot coming from where I came from to here in the United States, and I've seen like a lot of the ingredients, a lot of the things. So, there's a lot more, even for me, that passion goes by, because I want to be healthy so we can keep our generation healthy. We can be here for our children, right? And we can teach them how to eat healthy and stay healthy and just keep on going to the next generation.
Oh, so nice, so nice. And finally, I want you to clear up some rumors for me. Is it true that chocolate milk come from brown cows?
Okay.
Strawberry milk come from red cows? And that the low fat milks come from skinny cows? Can you answer those questions for me?
I could speak to that. Really and truly, that's kind of my ice-breaking lines when I go do a presentation. But no, it is not true. Generally, if you have a skinny cow on the farm, she's got her working clothes on and she's 100% in it to win it there in the farm. So no offense, if you got a little couch on the fat side, she's a little lazy. We have to see what we're gonna do. But no, it's.
But you'll be surprised how many elementary children. It's so funny to ask that question.
I can believe it.
Oh my goodness, how many, Ron? Right?
Yeah.
How about the almond milk? Can you milk the almond?
I still ain't figured that one out. I've been trying to squeeze the milk out of an almond for a long time, and I ain't got it yet. I'm working on it though. Heck, I ain't even found the udder on an almond yet.
You gotta have a good time.
Those little
bless.
guys, man, they try to get me.
Yeah.
I just wanna add a little humor to it. God bless you all. I love
God bless you,
Jada.
Vitel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you for being on a call.
Thank
We
you.
Appreciate you, sir.
yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
Vitel's the one responsible. He's the one that called me. He called me probably for 3 or 4 weeks. I kept missing his call. I finally said, I got to talk to this guy. He lets me know about these farmers. I said, farmers? What the heck? I got this friend that's got this dairy farm. I go, okay, what's it got to do with a bless? And he explained to me, all right, give this guy a call. But, I'm still asking the same question if I come to that farm. Where's the strawberry and chocolate cows? Because I love strawberry and chocolate milk. But the low fat, the skinny cow, never heard that one. I almost fell off my chair here. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Fidel.
Thank you for clearing up the rumor for me, Jeff and Jeff.
No problem. No problem. Anytime.
All right, another one of our, this is fun. Dr. Masagio, another one of our phenomenal webinars we had a couple weeks ago. We've had some really good ones. This is going off great too. I love it. Please unmute yourself, beautiful young lady.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. And
Hello.
thank you, Jenna and Jeff, for such a wonderful, passionate presentation, actually. And exactly, Chris, to say, what the heck when you're supposed to talk to the farmers? We tend to ignore what we feed on, actually, generally, globally around the world. We just see milk in the shops and we forget who is producing, basically. So I really think your job is one of the most important because you provide basic needs, actually basic needs to the global world. Around your surroundings, of course, but generally farmers around the world, they really are meeting what we need on a daily basis. And I don't have a huge comment per se, but I'm glad that Academy is there and everybody has commented on that already. I just wanted to appreciate the importance of your work because it really is vital. I come from a country in Africa. I come from Botswana. And Botswana is known to have a small population. It has always had a small population. So we have more cattle than people, actually, in Botswana. And cattle farming is so basic that any poor person would at least have a cow, if you know what I mean. And they survive on that. They survive on the milk of a cow. They survive on the meat of a cow. It's a survival. Actually, when we just took independence in Botswana, because the country had no money, I'm just sharing this story to show you the importance of the work that you do. Because the country had no money at all, nothing. All we had in the country was cattle. So then the country decided to negotiate with Europe, with the UK, to say, because we were under them, they were our protectors. We were not a colony, but a protectorate. So we negotiated with them to say, we don't have anything, but we need to develop the country. But we have good meat in Botswana. So can you buy our meat from there? So there was that negotiation and agreement. And therefore, Botswana started selling meat basically to Europe, specifically to England. You know what to do? To build the University of Botswana. What the president did was campaigned to everybody in the country to say, we call it every person a cow. That campaign, we call it every person a cow. So even the baby in the family was counted as a head who could contribute a cow to the economy of the country to build the University of Botswana. If you go to the University of Botswana, just at the entrance is a cow there with a farmer. That's the picture, because that's how we develop the country. So your work is so important. It is survival to some of us, and actually it has to be honored. So this is one of the projects that have to really be uplifted higher and higher in OBLES, because it can make such a big change, especially as you are more advanced in your equipment, in your, you have had challenges and you have talked about that, but you sound like farmers who are more advanced. You use advanced equipment. You are talking about even helping the Caribbean, and imagine the change you can make through Academy to small countries that cattle and milk is their own survival day to day. So really kudos to you. Well done and big up. And we cannot wait for OBLES. So thank you. And I really, you touched my heart. You touched the core of my origin. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Masagio. Once again, always beautiful words. Absolutely love the word that's coming out. Dave, I'm going to say your last name. Is that Marzion? Is that how I pronounce it? Or I'm going to say it wrong. So you just correct me, please, sir.
Marzion.
I was close.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. I think up here in Michigan, when it gets really cold, when I was young, I used to believe that the cows, because it was so cold, would give ice cream. And that was the reason why I always seen cows hanging out behind a Dairy Queen. But really, I just want to clear a couple things up. You have 150 cows, correct?
Yes,
Correct.
we're milking
Okay.
150. Yeah.
Okay, and you have 271 acres also. So you also mentioned something about something like a teaching farm where you could bring people in, get them taught on running a dairy farm, and then maybe helping your neighbors that needed help, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how many people does it take, do you think it would take to train? You know, I mean, how many people do you think you would have? I mean, I know it has to do with the size of the farm and everything, but
Right.
you have to have some kind of a number in your head that you would.
Right. I always base my labor on 1 man per 100 cows. Okay. So, you know, that's a pretty good general, you know, like my guy milks 100. Me and my guy, he milks 150 by himself. I milk relief for him. So I milk 150 by myself. You know, we do it alone. We used to have 3 employees when we were milking, you know, 250, 260. We had 2 guys in the barn all the time. And then we had a 3rd guy that did chores and worked relief. So for whoever was in the barn, the outside guy would work his day off. And then I would fill in for the outside guy. So we kind of rotated. So generally, I would say 1 per 100 cows, depending on their operation and what else they have going on. You know, are they raising a bunch of baby calves? Are they have a bunch of, outside work that has to be done, feeding, other animals outside, young stock and all that. So that all has to be just kind of taken into consideration, which, depending on what their milking hours are too, that those extra chores could be delegated amongst the guys that we send there. When they get done with the milking, since it's only for a short period of time, that could be included in the scope of their work. Well, you're going to milk and then you got to go you're going to take care of the young stock and feed the babies and stuff. That's just all that's all on a per farm basis. But generally, I would say 1 man per 100 cows. And depending on what kind of barn you have too, how fast your parlor is. Our parlor here, we milk in a 8 called a rapid exit, and we milk through the back of the legs. So the cows stand parallel. So we can milk about 80 cows an hour, 1 man, roughly.
Okay. So out of your 271 acres, would you be able to dedicate any percentage of that for housing purposes?
We're predominantly pasture. And then of course we do have about 120 acres of woods. So we're about 150 acres in pasture, cleared land. If we were to put our cows in a facility, basically what you guys know as a tie stall barn up there where they tie the cows in because it snows all the time. Our cows will be put in what they call a freestall barn where they have a bunk that they lay in, which could either be white sand or a cow mattress or a cow water bed. They would live in a barn and then everything would be toted to them. Of course, now the barn, when I say live in a barn, it is a very nice barn. It's, fans, misters, it can even go as far as being climate controlled. And then all their feedstuffs are brought to them. So they're no longer grazing on the pasture. But when you look at the environment and the elements most of the time. You have a lot of inconsistency in production. So you want to keep that animal as comfortable as possible. So if we can keep her in, you know, in a barn where she's not getting beat by the rain or beat by snow or cold weather, you know, blistering cold weather, I think we can be a little more efficient with production and everything like that. Then we can take the available land and go to dedicate that land to some other items or, you know, feed crops and stuff like that.
Okay,
Tiny homes.
You know, or a small portion of land that could be possibly cleared that's wooded, or some land that's not really super usable. We could dedicate it to a tiny home community.
okay. Okay, wait a minute. So so if you were to create something like this training farm or whatever you might want to call it, again, how many homes would you really need if it were tiny homes?
You know, you'd probably need at least 4. Because you know,
Okay.
you'd want a team of about 4 guys. I think that would be a good number.
Maybe to start with.
You know, to start with. And I think you know, you have 4 fully equipped tiny homes and you know, kitchens and all that ready to go where they have their own little quarters. And then, you know, they're dispersed from here. So whether it's, you know, here within, you know, you maybe put a radius, and then we start another group outside of that radius. And then, you know, in different farm areas where, you know, where we know there's enough farms, then, you know, we could, you know, that would warrant, you know, one of those crews. And then those crews could, you know, could be available to them.
Okay, in your opinion, how hard is it to get help?
To get help, it is pretty difficult because if around here, you know, there's not a lot of help. If you do get help, they're more than likely can show up drunk, stoned or high, one or the other, or not show up at all and just no show, no call, which we've had that done before. I can look out my back door and see the front of the dairy barn. So I can see the lights on down there. There was a time and a point where I had to wake up every morning at 2:30 to go look and see if the lights were on, to see if the help showed up, and then go back to bed. So me as the business owner had to babysit the help. And there was a lot of nights I looked down there and no lights on. And what I have to do, get up, get dressed, wake up my lovely wife, and we go down there and milk cows. You know?
Yeah.
Then, you know, but then there's times where, you know, the help shows up, but, you know, is the help doing a good job? You don't see them at 2:30 in the morning down there. So you really don't know what's going on down there. You know, either you babysit and pay the bill or do it yourself, you know, unless you can have some, you know, some dependable trained people. And I have an acquaintance that's out in California who has actually developed a staffing service for dairies. And he staffs milkers, he staffs foremans. He also performs trainings, barn trainings, parlor trainings, different trainings and stuff. And he started this just by accident. He was actually running a dairy and was short a couple of guys. So he went on, he's a Spanish guy. So he went on the radio station in California and made an announcement. And next news, you know, he's got people calling him. And he's like, oh, did I just stumble onto something? His boss man's like, you might want to, you know, try this out. So the next thing you know, the neighbor calls him, says, hey, can you find me a guy? He found a guy for the neighbor. And then on and on and on. Now he don't milk cows no more. He's just staffing people. He's even got family, I think in Mexico, that recruits people from the college in Mexico to come over to give them jobs. They get them legal, they do everything, and they get them jobs, which I think that's great. You know, if we can help some folks like that, get them legal and give them jobs, why not?
That's a good idea, you know, and that's kind of what I was driving at, because You know, the incentive has to be there for them to do the work correctly.
Absolutely.
And if you were able, I'm just a thought, if you were able to start a teaching farm and bring in people who needed a job or needed a place to live 4 at a time, then you can send them out to other farms that are struggling, you know, with personnel. And then, of course, maybe near those or on those farms, there would be other tiny homes where the incentive would be, we're going to give you this tiny home as long as you're working here and doing your job properly. Set some rules to keep them going and not, you know, running off, getting drunk and high and everything else.
Sure.
So it just kind of surrounds everything. You know, you're training people, so you have your farm is covered, but at the same time you're training people to go to other farms to help them out, and you're also giving them a home, getting them off the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I like that idea, you know, of the incentive. So, you know, I like where you're going with that, because the incentive would be, hey, look, we're going to give you a house, a home, and a small piece of land. But here's the catch. You work at this farm and perform, and at the end result, this is yours free and clear. This is your incentive to do a good job and get restarted in your life. And, you know, something of that nature. And, you know, you would possibly look for real estate or whatever, you know, in the area close by where they're working, but, you know, but it would be something that would be theirs.
Yeah.
So when it's theirs, they tend to want to take care of it, I would hope. And, you know, so everybody is all about an incentive. However, you do have the people that come on the farm and it's all about what else can I get?
Yeah.
That's a different breed of people. All they're here for is the money,
handout. Yeah.
the handout. What else can I get from them? What if I tell them, you know what, I'm not going to go do this unless I get this. Well, you know what I tell those kind of people? There's the road. I don't need you. You know, I'm not going to play that game. I'll never be held prisoner to an employee ever.
That's right.
And I always tell them when I'm hiring somebody, I always say, listen, I don't like to use the word employee because we are a family owned and family operated business here. We treat everybody as family. Employee to me puts a tag on it. It feels kind of almost a little bit degrading. You're no different than me. I need you. You need me. Okay. I've had a very good relationship with everybody I hired here. I always tend to do too much. And my wife tells me that you're bending over too far backwards, you know, but I always try to make it very accommodating and a very nice work environment here. But you always, you know, I always tell them, I will never give you anything that I cannot do myself. At the end of the day, I can do it, you know. Now you may have a different way to do it. And I've had to really come to grips with that there can always be two ways to accomplish the same goal. And so, you know, I work with that. But yeah, doing that, the incentivizing will really bring out the character in that person.
Yep, absolutely. I used to run a telecommunication company down in St. Louis, and I had 350 subcontractors. And the only way I could really keep them motivated was to treat them really, really well.
Absolutely.
And you know, because that's the whole scenario. You treat how you want to be treated. And I was able to take care of my contracts fairly easy. And even in the bad areas, you know, of the town where people didn't want to go into, I was able to get it done. And my clients just loved me for that. And you know what, your compassion for what you want to do is just really overwhelming. It's if we could duplicate you guys, about 1 million, 2, 3, 4, or 1 billion, I don't care. That would surely make a whole big difference. But we have to start small, and we have to have a plan that actually works, because once that happens and it's working, you'll be surprised how many people will get involved to help you make that destiny come true.
Amen. That's correct.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, not a problem. So, you struck on a couple things that I really wanted just to get straight, because I kept thinking, all right, how can we do this? And actually, Academy and Oblast are going to be your two major platforms that's going to help you the most, I believe. Not unless Ash comes up with something totally different, and that wouldn't surprise me. But those two can definitely help you a lot. And I believe that once you get a money flow going in, setting up property, I told Chris this once before, and it was a while back, so he probably didn't remember. But when he started talking about getting people off the streets and feeding them, then and then he mentioned something about tiny houses. My first thought was, there's a lot of empty trailer parks that are going blank, and they're already wired for whatever you need. It's got the sewer lines, the power lines. They just don't have the trailers there no more because they folded. So if you were to buy that property, you could have an instant community practically.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So same scenario, I mean, yeah, in time, you'll be looking at different scenarios. Oh, let's put something over there, but you still need that plan that works, that and people get excited about, to really, really move forward. So, I would like to be in touch with you and, have a powwow and just see what kind of numbers we can come up with. I do have a lot of connections across the country, so maybe it's possible that I can get enough people involved to help with what you want to do.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Appreciate
Dave.
you.
Thank you, Dave. You took a lot longer than I wanted you to, but I appreciate you, brother. All right. It's almost 10 after 11. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands. I'm going to get them through. I don't want to rush anybody. Get your point across, get it in there, and we'll go. So Miss Nadu, come on down. You've been waiting a long time.
Yes, Chris, I've been waiting, but I won't be long. I want to thank everyone here. And my point is going to the couple. I salute you. The harmony that you show, the respect to each other when you are talking to us. This is what captivated me, and I wanted to take that out. If every couple can work like you, we will change the world, because it's not easy to work as a couple and you guys live together, work together. And all this time that you were here, we don't feel like you were tired. When someone is going down, another one is ready to pick up. I cannot go to bed without saying this. We need that. And the other point, a lot of people say it, is the education. Education is the key. When we go to our grocery, to the marketplace, we don't know that those animals that we are eating, they were killed by someone. Years ago, I witnessed something. There's a lady who lived in France with her kid, and she wanted to bring them back home. And what happened? She killed a chicken in front of those kids. And it was a drama. They cannot eat that chicken. They called their mom a killer.
Yes.
Why? Because they go into the supermarket and they see the chicken in the plastic. They don't believe it, and they
Right.
did not eat that chicken.
They're not
Guess
educated.
what? When they went back to Paris, they keep eating that, the plastic one. But the
Yeah.
one they killed, they will never forget that their mom took a knife and killed a chicken. They cannot
Wow.
take that. So we
Yeah.
need education. No
Mhm.
drama. We don't want to terrorize our kids. And who knows? I have it in my mind for like 30 years. Who knows the impact of those kids up
Yes.
to today? So we need education at the base so they know what they have. Not only the chicken, but we see kids go into store to buy clothes and they don't know that somebody bought fabric, cut them and have those clothes. So
Mhm.
we need education. Thank you guys for coming and
Thank
showing
you.
us what is love. Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
all I
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
say, Chris.
Thank you, Nadu. But you know what, Nadu? A farmer's education, when they teach your kids, is to teach them how to kill the chicken for food. So it really goes both ways. We have to educate. Farmers educate their kids a lot different than we would. Where me, I'm an animal lover and I couldn't watch it done. But I'm going to tell you right now, even Jana, I'm sure can grab a chicken and say, we're hungry, kapooey. But yeah, that's how they
Well,
teach them. But
Listen, I love my chickens. They're my babies, okay? If it comes down to that I have to snap the neck and feed my family, I'll do it. My grandma used to do it and I'll do it too. But I told my husband, in the meanwhile, you the killer and I'll cook the chicken.
there you go. There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Remember, God did put animals on this earth to help us eat for hunger. So, but Nadu, I appreciate your comments and you're correct. Well, there are certain things we shouldn't do in front of our kids, but a farmer, you can't tell a farmer that. That's totally different. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to call the last hand is Musharraf Hassan. Mr. Harold Fox waiting there patiently. Come on down, brother.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Jana and Jeff, is that correct? That's correct.
That's correct.
I would like to thank you for sharing your enthusiasm and passion about your industry. All of us here on the panel could detect how enthusiastic you are about your business. Now, what I wanted to say was Mr. Ash Navarro envisioned all of this. You mentioned the Caribbean setting up, I don't know that much about the industry, but you said something about setting up an industry in the Caribbean.
Correct, yeah.
He wants to set up an industry in over 200 countries. The dairy industry is very, very prevalent. I shouldn't say prevalent, but needed throughout the world.
Absolutely.
You guys, I would put you in any type of teaching situation to go around the world and train people in your industry because you're so passionate about it. I'm an older gentleman, so I have to write down a few things. I'm not gonna hold you up. Some things I'm just gonna keep to myself. One thing I really wanted to know: how do you actually make chocolate milk?
How do you actually make chocolate milk?
Yeah.
We milk a brown cow. No, what they actually do is when milk goes to the processing plant, they have flavorings that they can add. They'll add the chocolate flavor. That's a big thing on the flavored milk now is really taking a kind of a forefront now to the kids. Now they have they've always had strawberry and chocolate, but now they're coming out with like banana, vanilla, orange, orange creamsicle. There's different flavors. One of the local grocery stores here, they package milk and they've got some like a salted caramel and just different flavor. To make it fun again. To me, when I was growing up, it was white milk, chocolate milk, and that was all you got.
That was it.
You didn't get bottled water in school. That's what you drank. You drank white milk and chocolate milk. And, you know, and where I have a little bit of a hang up is we give our kids too many options in the school system, but yet you've got, you know, the dietary guidelines pitching a fit about sugar, but yet they're letting kids drink soda. You know, let's keep it simple. Let's go back to, you know, they don't want the kids drinking full fat whole milk because it said it makes them fat. Well, get them off their video games, you know, get them outside. And it ain't the milk that's doing it. And so, you know, we just got to get back in there with that. And but anyway, getting back to your point, they have different flavorings that they add to the milk at the processor.
But I can tell you how I make my chocolate at home. Okay, it's very simple. If any of y'all want to do it, you know, like the cool weather's coming down here in Georgia. So I take my whole milk that I get out of my tank, unprocessed, everything. It's just full fat, everything in it. And I'll warm it up, and I take 100% cocoa powder, put it in there, a little bit of sugar. You mix that up. It's the best chocolate milk you're ever gonna get.
Hot chocolate.
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for enlightening me about the industry. I mean, your industry varies off to so many different areas, you know, the dairy, the cream, I mean, it's just so many areas that you are involved in. And thanks for enlightening me on it. Thanks for letting me share, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harold. I don't know what you all are talking about. I got me a chocolate cow. I get chocolate milk. One of them gives me whipped cream to put on my chocolate. So we could go on for hours about that one. Still cracking me up. You know, the low-fat cow has got me going, or the skinny cow, because I've never heard that one. So chocolate and strawberry and all that, yeah, funny. But thank you, Harold. Appreciate you. All right, Miss Terry, California Thompson, come on down.
Thank you, Chris. I just want to give a big, quick shout out to the both of you. I never thought I'd be raising my hand to talk about anything in the dairy industry. I don't claim to know a thing. I know that you are extremely hardworking, and I think the timing is perfect for this, actually. Chris, I know you started off saying, you know, I'm not sure what it has to do with, but it has everything to do with what you do. And I'm here to, I think right now, you know, we all know that there's been a lot of plants that have burned down and food plants.
Mhm.
And I believe, if I'm correct, we lost a lot of cows this past summer in Kansas and other places. And I'm a big believer that, I don't know, we sort of need to go. I love this. Like, we're going almost back to basics, but we can utilize
Absolutely.
technology
Yes.
to help
Yes.
bring those basics back. The closest I can tell you, my husband and I purchased years ago a door-to-door dairy delivery service. We did
That's
that.
awesome.
We did that because when I was young, I'm aging myself, but I loved when the milk was delivered to our front door in the bottle, you know, the glass bottles and the eggs. And there's a feeling, there's some kind of a feeling of there that just made you feel proud. And that's what I got from the both of you today. It brought back memories. We called that business Cows on Wheels. And we delivered it door to door just because we felt like we were bringing that to people. And I feel like that's what the both of you have done for us. Again, I don't claim to know anything, but your passion, and I kid you not, caused me to raise my hand to let you know that even if it's just donating, I am there. I am there to help the both of you. My husband and I will. And I want you to know, I truly believe On Passive is going to be the key to helping everything that you're doing for us. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much. Your passion is everything, and we can all see it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the home delivery thing too, that is another thing that could be very doable. Very doable, you know, and like you said, with, you know, milk, eggs, and bread, Those three staples right there, people just love to have that service.
Well, and it creates a relationship between the farmer and the consumer. And that is not an area we lost in such a big industry and big warehouses and big plants. You know, people looking for that, they yearn for that. Like, it's like they want to go back to the basics. And so, you know, we want the customers support the local farmers, because it not only give them the product, but also creates a friendship and a relationship and all that, and you know, it all bundle up at once. So it's important. It's important because we're losing that in this society. We're losing that in this society. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Terry Thompson, appreciate you. Love the hat. You know, I love the hats. Someone asked me the other day, why does she wear those hats when she's got that beautiful hair? I said, because that's her style, and it's a cool style. She's a rocker, man. She's a rocker. All right, thank you, Terry. Bruce Gerstein, come on down. Or should I call you Dave Roslewski Sr.? Go ahead, Bruce.
Thank you, Chris. You didn't notice that I trimmed my beard.
That must be brothers.
David is longer than men. I want to first of all thank you very much, John and Jeff Pusiglio, for what you do. I look at you and I see two of God's miracles who are doing God's work every day from your heart. And that's amazing. I love your story about the guy who said, get in the car, and how much passion you had for that. And I'm thinking about many things. You have so many different angles that you're looking at. One of the things I know from you have a lot of clarity, Jeff, when you talk about the things that you're doing and the associations you're involved with. One thing about OnPassive is that every one of those people, I don't care who they are, can be a reseller. And if you look at your industry used to be supplemented a lot by the government, and the government doesn't seem to be caring very much about farmers. But without food, we don't get any help, and if we don't have any help, we have nothing. So you are a very important part of this chain that we have, in this link that we have. But I'm thinking about when you mentioned the association, the best way to, I'll have a little discussion with you on that. But I'm thinking you can invite them in to help the association grow funds also, as looking at O Academy for them to be involved with and become resellers, because every reseller that comes in not only helps them, it helps everyone around them. The people that come in to work for you, if you sell, you can get people so you can teach people, and you can also reward them in that way too. You can also, because one of the things we have 3 free products coming in. We have one amazing communication product called OConnect, another one which is paid for, but ONET and OMail. And those things, you're in a rural community. In rural communities, my brother has a farm, not a farm, he has a place in Wyoming, and his nearest neighbor is 9 miles away. And the communication is essential for people in your community. And the best way to get them to connect is we keep offering them the free product. And you know what will happen once they see that. They'll find out more and more and more about OnPassive. But when you look at bringing people in to teach them, and I believe in the barter system, and that's what you're really talking about, having somebody to work, have a house, a place to live, a place to eat, and to be taught how to do something. Most of the people who come there are probably not sure if they really want to farm. I remember, I got to tell you a funny story, because you talked about getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning, milking cows. I had a roommate, he came from Wisconsin, they had over 1,000 cows. And I said, a dairy farm. I said, that's really cool. He goes, Bruce, what's so cool about waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning?
Yes.
Wait to be milked. And you got to get up that to start milking your cows. It's not an easy job to do. And that's a very, very, he really has to be dedicated to them. Because they're like your children. If you don't milk a child, they get painful. Things get painful. And it's very important to make sure that they're okay and healthy. I'm thinking about the housing that you have for them inside. If I were a cow and it was summertime and I had a nice cozy place inside with mist coming down, no, I'm not going outside. It's air conditioning.
Heck no, you ain't gonna want to go outside. Heck, they got water beds for these cows
Oh, no.
now.
I got to do a little bit of exercise and then come back inside, lay down, you know. But you were a blessing. You're a real blessing. And I know that you talk about, you do all this for God. And the bottom line of all this comes down to when we learn about Ampassad, we learn that the one thing we're supposed to be doing in this world is to help each other and serve each other.
100%.
And also, I come from a different faith, but the same thing happens is that you always thank God for letting you be of service. You always give God the glory for all the benefits He helps other people. And you are really a godsend here. I don't know how much you know that, but you're humble, you're proud, and not in a prideful way. You're proud because of what you do to help others. And that's the most important thing. And your energy and your enthusiasm is really, it comes off of you and it brings us all to that place of feeling, being filled with enthusiasm and love too. So I don't want to belay too long. I know that David went a long time and I'm not going to go as long as David because I don't have the wind to go that long. But I want to tell you that I didn't grow up in a farm. I'm a nice Jewish boy from the suburbs, but I understand how difficult it is. I had a friend in Thailand. He married a Thai girl, and his father-in-law was a pig farmer, and he thought he should be a pig farmer until he spent one day at the farm, and he realized it's not for him. So farming is not for everybody, you know. But the thing is about all of this, that, you know, if you want to get almond milk, you know, you get an almond cow, right?
That's right. If you want chocolate almond milk, you'll get a chocolate almond bar.
It's like a blonde cow, right? So anyway, I want to thank you again for being here, and
yes, sir.
You one day too. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bruce. If you're wondering why I'm laughing, it's because I don't know if you know who Robin Noble is, Jana. Yeah, she's sending me funny things. I said, well, come on if you want to talk. And if you know Robin, she's actually quite comical. She said, I could milk this all night. I'll stop now. And she said, nah, I think you've got this covered. I don't utterly need to speak tonight. Little cow humor in there. So thank you, Robin Noble. When you see me laugh like that,
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh,
when
my
you see me
goodness,
crack up, I
David.
usually got people messaging me funny stuff. So Brucey, thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you. All right, Greg, come on, Greg. I don't think you're going to be talking about electric cars on this one, Greg. What you got, brother?
I talked to, this is before the COVID, I had a number of farms doing local service and stuff, and they didn't get the idea that this business was, well, that was back like 3.5 years ago, but still, I don't know. The farmers have gone down, but I've always believed in buying things organically, and you know, there is a few organic farms, and that we need more, well, I don't know. After a while, and I lost my drive. Well, no, I lost my car. Well, was no more, and I wanted to get an electric car, but that was later. But it's still, this problem is getting worse, and you know, this area used to be, well, a little more self-sufficient, and now we're, you know, Walmart is like an hour away, and I don't know, it's just like people don't understand food anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They think it comes from the store. They don't realize how it gets there, what it takes to do it, you know. And a lot of folks, you know, they get upset when they see the price of stuff, but what they don't realize is what it costs to grow it.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, if you know, I want to get back to more organic things. I mean, I don't know, my state is a lot of co-ops. You know, there's things where people are buying more locally, except for, you know, things like pineapples or stuff that doesn't grow in Vermont. But I mean, regular food. And I don't know. Hopefully, when I start getting money, I'll go back there and see if I can help them out. You know, I'm pretty alone up here with my business, but I have one customer and, well, one person that came from Kokomo, Washington, but she's living in Ghana right now. But it's all good when things start happening.
We're gonna get there, Greg.
I'm on SSI for years because of, you know, New Hampshire, and, you know, getting busted after leaving the reggae concert. But you know,
Greg, you're not allowed to tell that story, Greg.
it's legal here.
Oh, you're a funny guy, Greg. We're coming to all that stuff you're talking about. It just takes a little time. Electrical cars, you're going to see. Flying cars, I'm not sure either one of us will see for a while. But all that stuff, electrical, is on its way. Every manufacturer is going for green, which is better for the earth. So, and governments, believe it or not, are forcing a lot of them to do it. But most of them stepped up to the plate, me coming from the auto business, to start doing it. Better emissions, lighter cars, better, you know, different kind of materials that we don't pollute the earth. I mean, we've done a pretty nasty job of polluting the earth for over a couple hundred years, and we all know that. But I still think Mother Nature is the toughest mother I've ever seen. So you stay tuned, Greg. It's coming, my brother.
I know it's coming, that I like to get there already.
You got it. It's coming, brother. It's a coming. All right. Thank you, Greg. Always a pleasure, my man. Okay. Now I know this lady's been waiting a long time. Absolutely love your hair. Crazy about it, Lily. Now I'm going to ask you, are you any relation to downtown Cynthia Brown? Oh, come on. You got to unmute yourself. Spill the beans so we can move forward.
I can't give no secret here. I can't reveal anything. No, I cannot reveal anything. And if you notice my last name, I can't tell you who I'm related to either. Okay. So let's keep that a secret among us right here. I do this, okay? So I want to say this is great. This is great to be here. This is wonderful to be here. Chris, you are doing a wonderful, wonderful, just heartfelt, I mean, great. I want to celebrate you first. I want to celebrate you first because you are the man right here. And I want to just celebrate everybody else who is on this platform. You have over 200 people here. And each and every one of you gets celebrated individually. But there's a couple here, and I want to celebrate them from my heart. And that's Jeff and Yana. Jeff and Yana. From my heart, there is a place of love to see couples working together. I must say, I'm a farmer's child. I grew up on the farm. I knew what it is to be on the farm. I am native of Jamaica. I came from the highest core, the highest mountain top of Jamaica. And when I hear farming, I get really, really excited and I blush. My little chocolate skin get blushy. And my heart just like melts when I hear, farmers. I love it. My parents were dedicated farmers, but we didn't have cows. We didn't have cows, but we had everything else. But I listened to Jeff and Yana, and there's something about sharing. There's something about sharing, and that's what we did as farmers. We share. So when we had the pig, and the next neighbor had the cow, and we have the chicken, and the person had the rabbit, we share, we crisscross. So there's something about sharing farming and sharing the farming. It gives such a love. You share from the heart because everybody don't have everything, right? And that is what's happening right here. What you have is what you share. And then you build an entire community. So when you have a farmer's community, it's something about God creation that comes to life. There's something about that. Now, there's something about farmers again. It gives a personal touch to what you eat. We had fruit and we had vegetables and we had all of that, but it gave a personal touch because there are days that I used to watch my mother just pack all those fresh fruits and vegetables and go off to the market. Yes. And I would watch her till the ground. Yes. But there's something about it. There's a personal touch about that. So, Jeff and Yana, what you are doing, you are giving a personal touch to our lives. You are giving us such a personal touch to the real world. The processed food is not the real world. The real world is the land. And when we are replenishing the land, this is what we need. This is how we bless the land. This is how we restore the land. This is how we lift up humanity by having farmers on something like this. So when we stand in support of farmers, we are standing in support of Ash's vision of lifting up humanity. So as we support you, dear Yana and Jeff, just know that you're not alone. You see right here, we have over 200 people right here. And we got you because we are going to taste something from your land, whether it is the skin cow milk or the almond milk, but whatever it is, we are going to taste something from your personal touch. Thank you. I celebrate both of you. I celebrate both of you for what you're doing. So as you continue to do what you're doing, remember, God gave you an assignment. He whispered an assignment to both of you, individually and collectively. So as you work together as a unit, just know for sure that the assignment that God gave you, it will come to pass.
Amen.
It will come to pass.
Amen.
Thank you, Verona.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Verona. Thank you very much for those beautiful words. I won't tell anybody that you're Cynthia Brown's little sister. I won't tell them that.
And the other last name too. You said, and the other last name.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 hands left, and in 20 minutes, the Rob Lynn Live is going to be on. So I'd like to be able to get done, 5 or 6 minutes before that, so people can go to the bathroom and have a drink and go watch Rob Rob Lynn Live. So Miss Miriam, another beautiful lady who's been waiting a very long time. Come on, unmute yourself, young lady.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chris, and your team for allowing me to speak. Chris, I must say you rock. Not Chris Rock, but you rock. I am a native of Jamaica, and I must celebrate all of you, but I am celebrating Jeff and Yana tonight. You brought so much passion that it reminds me of the community that I had when I was growing up. As the second to last of 11 children, we had a community. And of course, as the community, we bartered. We had everything going on our land, vegetables, fruits. We had cows, we had goats, we had everything. But some communities had none of that. So we bartered the callaloo, we bartered the cabbage and all of those things. And so we form a community. It is because of the growing of crops why I went to high school, because my uncle lost his job when he was working at Denny's and Geddes. It's one of those places that they make soft drinks. So he had to farm in order to send me to high school. So what you're doing for your family and what you brought to this community, it's telling of your passion, what you want to do for your family and also for the community. So I want to celebrate you. And because of the passion you have, God is going to grant you the desire of your heart. The heart of Ash is building up humanity, and that's your passion too. And all of us in this platform, in this community, we are like-minded people. So you have a great cloud of witnesses working with, and you will succeed because we're all in it with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you, Miriam. Beautiful words. Hey, Miriam, I would like to see a Jamaican cow because I'd like to hear him moo with that beautiful accent you guys got. I don't know how we do it, but there's got to be Jamaican cows, right? You got cows in Jamaica. Do they have the accent? Do they say moo, man? Moo.
Oh, they say, yes.
That's funny. Miriam, thank you for the beautiful words. I do appreciate you. All right, we got Musharraf, who's not even waiting a long time. Come on, Musharraf, what you have, my brother?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. And very good morning, good evening, good afternoon for everyone. And you are really, Chris, you are just now, one would say that you are rock. Definitely, you are rock. Absolutely. And as Julie is also there, thanks to Julie, his corporate, I'm really impressed that every time I'll just sing for every word. I'm just listening for everyone. It's like in this new world we are enter for all this founder and thus think a new it's a new thinking to add it to the on passive. So and really I'll just say thanks to Jana also, because he's also planning a very it's a like a different and very unique thing. And these are the real founder. They will if I say like new type of is like an organization. If you say like a planning, so all the founder, they have to make a planning for that. In the future we have to create this type of as a humanity we will prepare and we will start up like that. So really it's a really a different, because no one think like that one company, and they will create so many sector. We will focus for that, how to build as a humanity. It's like a people to come and join us, and we will do something as a humanity. So it's not like only in a one platform. We will focus to all the areas, all that sector, how to build that as a human and as a business, as like involved inside the on passive, and they will like better future they have to make it inside the on passive. So definitely we will say a thanks to everyone. Actually, they are planning to different platform, different. It's a knowledge they will share it. I'm really very impressed because I'm also doing a different thing. But it's really if I say like before 2021 years, I'm also doing a management from the hotel. So now I'll just change my sectors. Now I'll go to the IT field after 15 years back. So I'm just involved in that sector. But I'm really, if I say like that, it's really a very interesting thing. Just now it's a topic. They will everyone they will share it to that. It's really impressed, and I'm just I'm just thanks to everyone for all over the world, those who participate in this and those who are listening in the YouTube also. Definitely, we are planning for all the sectors, and it's like a starting. Before starting on passive, we will lots of things we will set up in all the founders' mind what we want to going to do that, and it's like a real plan up we will set for the mind. So I just say that thanks to all that founder, because I don't know what to say everyone, because all of you really are doing a great job, and these are the startup, and these are the very excitement moment, because everyone's know what is the happenings going on after a few week, after a few days. So really it's very interesting for all over the world, and we just wait for that, the good news, everything. And it's already startup as like a event, and Julie's even I'm just I don't say that time, but now I'll say to Julie, it's really I'm just seeing your event. It's really awesome, and to give the thanks to you right now, because now you are there. And in India also lots of happenings going on after 16 and that thing, and we also already do a planning for that Chris or 29. We also doing in this in India. So everyone doing a planning for that is an event, and everything should be a very excited moment. And really, I'll give the thanks lots of founders. They are involved in this. It's in this uplift the humanity. If I say like everyone, they will attach for as like a family members. So really, Chris, I'll give so many blessing. Everyone's give it for all the founders, because they are give the best opportunity. It's a real change, life changing is like an opportunity. So definitely, I'll say that thanks to Ash also. And really, I'm just saying it's awesome, everyone. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Okay, I see we got a couple of more hands. I'm gonna call Dave Rosleski. You got 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we're pressed for time, so I'm not going to expound or pontificate. I just want to know, do you get hemp milk from Jamaican cows?
Oh gosh.
That was bad, Dave. That was bad. It is legal. It is legal over there. So
Jokes. Sorry.
that's funny. Good Lord. All right. All the Jamaicans, that did not come from me. You could go to Dave Rosleski and get it for that, but it was kind of funny. So David, I'm going to get you. Tim Dillon, real quick. You got a minute, brother. Uh-oh. It's not unmuting there, Tim. Maybe you got your Goldilocks caught up in your mouse. There you go.
I got it. Hey, Jeff and Jana, I love what you're trying to do and what you're talking about. It takes me back years. Maybe there might be a few of you that remember Farm Aid and what Willie Nelson did, raising money for farms that were being foreclosed on. I think with the Oblast platform, that it is very possible that we could set up some kind of relief fund to help those farmers that are in financial closure.
Absolutely.
That would certainly help avoid another Farm Aid. And Willie Nelson did a great job. But I guess it shows my age. But you know what? this has been a very wonderful webinar, and you knocked it out of the park. Unbelievable. There is so much, there are so many different avenues that we can take this to improve our own food production and our personal food production. I think it's wow. Wow. Thank you for giving me that time, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're all great. Love you all.
That was the best minute I've ever heard you talk, Tim. That was phenomenal, brother. And I mean that. That was really nice words. All righty. We got last, I think, but not least, Julie Wen. Go ahead. Unmute your mic, please.
Thank you so much, Chris. Hi, Jeff and Jenna and Dave. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on here and share a bit of your life with us and what everything that you are doing. You know, the food that we take, the milk that we drink, it all goes to the farmer. See how much care they have, right? How much care they feed their animals and how they plant it. So I'm so grateful that you are here and you literally share a bit of your life here with us, because Chris know that you know, I make my own almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk at home, and it tastes so much different, right, than the store-bought one. And I talked to Chris about this too, is that, you know, there are stuff that we bought at the store with so much preservative and so much stuff that we don't even know the word in it. So we need farmers around. It doesn't matter where, doesn't matter what area, we need farmers around. And based on what I read, farmers do produce food that actually can feed 10 billion people around the world. But how come there are so many people are hungry around the world? It's because of the limitations in terms of, for example, equipment to store food or equipment to store food that feeds the animal, or all of that. So I'm just so appreciative of what both of you are speaking out about the hardships that you're facing with. Not only that, but the kind of work that is behind the scenes that can give us the nutritions, the food that we receive every day. Unfortunately, there are so many companies out there that monetizing the hard work from the farmers. You know, so it's so important that that we love the fact that you're coming on here and you literally share. You know, this is the kind of work that we do, the passion that we are doing every single day. You know, you really touch on the subject where we all really need to watch what we're putting into our body, right? You really did that. And so I have chills in my body, and I can't believe, and not that I can't believe, I can't wait for all of us to literally focusing on what we are putting in our body by supporting the farmers, by educating ourselves of the process that is done behind the scene, because none of us would know. And especially children nowadays. I mean, send them to school and you don't know what they're feeding our children at school. Is that right? That's correct. That's one of the reasons why, you know, I do my very best, waking up every morning, cooking one meal for my daughter. And I think it's this is a wake-up call for a lot of us. I believe that if you see that there is, local farmers that offering, support them. And I just, like I said, I'm truly appreciate you, and watching both of you are doing this together, and your relationship, like husband and wife working business together and going out there and passionate sharing your passion with others. I think it's just amazing. Kudos to you. and appreciate you. And I think you continue to speak your passion and continue to share it there. I would love to connect with you through Chris. I would love to support you. And yes, it's true. I believe that you should continue to do what you're doing. The apples are coming, the funds are coming. Just let your passions keep rising and keep doing that. So thank you so much, and I appreciate
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Julie Wynn, thank you. And of course, we got another hand up, another powerful sister. Robin Noble, open that mic, and you are the last one. Anyone tries to raise their hand, I'm going to take Jeff's and Jana's cows and run you over. Go ahead, Robin.
Thanks, Chris.
No.
Jeff, Yana, what an absolutely amazing evening with you this evening. I have to say this, and I'm sorry I'm doing this for me, and then I'll move on to what I really, really want to say. But you have moved all of us to such extent and to such new, in some cases, very new dimensions of understanding of what farmers go through and the trial and tribulations, as much as the love you have for your animals, as much as the love you have for your land. Our mum, who passed away recently, was from South Africa, and she came from farm folk. They had a very large farm in South Africa, East London. It was a dairy farm. It was pigs and chickens. They all had names. They loved them dearly, but they were also their livelihood and what fed a family of 13 plus children and grandchildren. The table and the matriarch of that family knew the value and importance of the animals, how to look after them, how to take care of them, to care for the land, and to give back to everybody who participated in that. And so the examples of what you were talking about this evening and what other people have been joining in with you to say they want to partner with you and help you further what your own ideals and ideas are phenomenal. A few days before our mum passed, she was receding in memory further and further into her past. And it took her back to the farm in South Africa. So there were some very beautiful conversations about how she helped her uncle and her aunt and her granny look after the animals and the cows and everybody on the farm. So hearing how you want to look after your partners, working partners in the fields, in the dairy, brought all of this up. And I apologize because, yes, I was making Chris laugh. I was the one doing a lot of that, but it kept me so grounded and so full of the beauty of the farmer, the farm folk, of my own background and ancestry, and to what you were wanting to do to help children and the future generations learn and be part of all of this here in North America, the States, and I know it will go beyond it back into Canada, and it will also go beyond into the rest of the world. In the late 1970s, last century, I also had a health food store. And my belief was that we needed better food, natural food at the time. It was called the Health Nut. And it was slightly more to the neighborhood than a corner store just selling milk and bread and eggs. But those were the best darn milk, bread and eggs that you could find in the area. And through that, I was able to help educate a whole sector of a very an area of the city with a bit of an attitude and not very friendly towards newcomers or to change, learn and understand the importance of fresh and farmers and buying locally. So for the lady who said that the children went back home and went back to France and had the chicken out of the plastic, that was the type of neighborhood I was in. That's where they shopped and what they wanted. So when I started bringing in fresh food and fresh farmers, cheeses and eggs and milk, it was quite foreign to them. I won't take any longer because we're just about to hit the midnight hour, but thank you both so much. And thank you to everybody who contributed to this evening. This is just the first rock or pebble that's been dropped into the pond. The ripples are going out. Chris, as always, another amazing, amazing Obless. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. Good night, everybody. Have a great day for those of you in the start.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Righty, thank you, Robin. Appreciate you for coming on talking. And everyone that's talked, let me do the shout outs because Lynn's 12 o'clock and she's going to be late for 5 seconds here. I do personally want to thank, excuse me, Jana and Jeff. This turned out to be bigger than I thought. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I never seen so many hands raised on one of my webinars here. I'm very impressed. Many messages are sent to me as, who are these two? Once again, where did they come from? And it's pretty amazing. But I want to personally thank you. I'm going to say Jeff and Jana and Paso will bless is definitely going to help out you. Every one of us are going to stand shoulder to shoulder, and we're going to be there for you because Obless is fixing everything, not just one thing. So from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you both. Love and passion to both of you because you guys got a lot of that. I want to thank all the co-hosts on here, and I don't know if they're still on here. Maybe some of them left. I don't know. Brucey, Engineer Mike, actually John and Jeff are co-hosts, Julie Wan, Lister T, Narelle Warcon, and Lynn Nakamoto was co-host, but she's probably going to start her show. I also want to thank Daryl Cook, who always writes notes, and I think Jeff and Jana are going to have to get up early in the morning to go milk some cows. So I do appreciate, I love every one of you. Tonight, right after this, go see Rob Lynn. They always have a midnight live. And then tomorrow, 2:00 is going to be a Pass It 360. Is Ash going to show up? I don't know. Can't tell you. We like surprising you, but we don't know. He's been so busy this week, it's not even funny. So I appreciate every one of you. Get out there and bless somebody. Pray for our friends that are sick. If you got a birthday, happy birthday. Go get some sleep because tomorrow's going to be another long day. I love every one of you. Jeff and Johnny, you want to say anything before we go?
Yes, I would like to say that in the meanwhile, as we are in a process getting on that train to win it, just whatever you are, just remember that you can support even now the local farmers. If you see a stand or if you see a, place where there's a local, just go and support them, buy it from them because they not only work hard, but they grow it with passion and heart to feed the community and everybody. So that would be my final words. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
It's going to be an early morning.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Y'all be
Good
blessed.
night, all. Sorry we kept you up so late, but you were good. So, all right. Good night,
everybody.
Say goodbye real quick.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.